on prime. Living up, I mean, everything everybody said about this particular game. You know, hey, the over's going to hit. Derrick Henry's going to score. Lamar's going to go crazy. Joe Burrow's going to go crazy. The only thing that didn't happen, I think, that everybody kind of expected to happen is Derrick Henry rushing for like 200 yards because that's what they've done. Lou Anarumo made Derrick Henry the one guy, seemingly early going in. We are not going to let this king ruin the game. They had a great strategy for that. And then late in the game, obviously, the Baltimore Ravens start juking and jiving and making some plays and kind of switch it up a little bit. And I think it all started with that Baltimorean fella up in the crowd. Everybody else is sitting down, and he says, I paid how much for these tickets? Guys looking like a bunch of assholes out here. Come on. Well, obviously, the message was received. There's a fumble on the next drive, next series. Then Baltimore rolls. And then Joe Burrow does what we've all expected from Joe Burrow immediately upon stepping into the NFL because of what he did on this field right here with this university. It's like Joe Burrow performed great, made it a game late. They come back, storming back. He becomes unwavering, and they can even win the damn game. Now, Lamar Jackson is only human on earth that can do this.
Yep.
Not just throw it back across his body like he did the last time against Cincinnati in a similar play. Let me go ahead and tight rope right down the sideline for a first down, and then inevitably be a guy that, is unstoppable. Zay Flowers looked like he was so incredibly fast, only goes for like 36 yards. Obviously, Mark Andrews makes a couple plays out there. You got studs all over the place for this Baltimore Ravens offense, and it was needed and evident in that second half. And still, Joe Burrow, with this slow start that they've had, up against it a little bit, now they're 4-6. It's like, if they don't get held and he don't get hit in the face, they win that game. They win that game.
That's what people are saying.
That's the whole conversation happening in Ohio, and I believe Zach Taylor's wife even put out a post like, you know how much time this guy's committing to this entire thing? I guess we'll just move on, but damn, that's not how it's supposed to go.
Well, and that's what Zach Taylor said right after, too, because I think one of the reporters asked him, one of the journalists said, like, how frustrating is it to, have this result when the game's this close and you guys are winning? He's like, look, we pour our heart and souls into this shit, and it's real, and it stinks that they do, but the Ravens are too good. They really are. They're kind of the cream of the crop when it comes to football right now because, what was it, 9 minutes left in the third? They're down 21-7 since he's getting the ball back, and then this happens.
A jump pass.
Yeah, they're just they're almost dicking around out there, the Ravens, in only 20 minutes of the game. Thicking around, excuse me. I screwed that up once again. But Baltimore is the best team in the league, you could say. I saw a lot of people on the internet, though, saying, this secondary, are you kidding me? Joe Burrow again, this is going to come back to bite them in the ass, which it very well might, but for the Bengals, you got to be kind of kicking yourselves because no T. Higgins, and they're still doing this. And Jamar, I saw 11 catches, 264, whatever, 258, 3 touchdowns. No career highs.
How many fantasy points?
He had 55 fantasy points, which if you're playing that guy in fantasy,
what a throw,
which there may be a team up here that is playing him in fantasy this week. Go ahead and take Sunday off. You don't have to adjust your lineup. You don't have to do shit.
Hey,
you lost.
Hey, Travis Kelce, we need you to go for about 5-6 against Denver. Now, with that being said, for our fantasy team, let's go back to this. Jamar Chase and Joey on this field, obviously, it all gets started. Jamar is insane. And now that's the lack of a penalty being called on 2-point conversion. And then I believe Joey also got hit in the face, and there was another hold. There was a lot of things that people are nitpicking about because it was a game-winning play. Nonetheless, I think if you're a fan of both teams, they both showed up, AJ. Jamar Chase is phenomenal. Joey B is great. It's not a win, so obviously you can't be too excited about it, but both these teams, we thank them for their performance. And the over was the easiest pick of the year, easiest bet of the year, and obviously they run right through it, even though early it might not have happened.
Yeah, this game was it was very fun to watch. I know 7:05, I believe, in the third quarter is when Marlon Humphrey rips that ball out. And that changed everything, right? That was shortly after they showed the Baltimore guy, right, losing his mind in the crowd. The crowd was down. They weren't really in it. And right here, I know Bruce even said they cut to Lamar shortly after this, and Lamar is like, you could tell Lamar's thinking, "Yep, here we go. This is all we needed. Just crack the door a little bit, and I'm going to bust right through that thing. Here we go." Like,
oh yeah.
Wait, I know, but where do the Bengals go from here? What's their season like? Do they have a chance? Do they have to win out for the playoffs? Like, what's going on with them?
You just say like if they win every game, they're good.
Yeah.
Right?
But do they have to win every game to get in tie? What do you think?
Look in the division, like the Steelers, unless they completely crumble, and same with I don't know.
Bengals 4-6 now, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they still have They have to play the Steelers twice. It's not like they have an easy road. I don't know. You look at these stats, and it's like, what more can they do? Joe Burrow, these last several games, we're talking about him as an MVP candidate, and for whatever reason, because whether it's the defense or untimely turnovers, they just can't figure it out. I think watching them, like, yeah, they could turn things around. They could rip off, 7 in a row and finish the season 11-6. But the NFL is just too. I mean, is that likely? Probably not. I don't know. I mean, I think they really needed that one last night, especially being up 2 touchdowns and potentially going down to go up 28-7 and kind of put that thing away.
They win 7 straight, though. They're at 11-6.
Yeah. Yeah, so can do it.
So can get in.
Possible.
Can get in.
I think they're
going to have to fix a lot of things. And obviously, Coach Dan Hurley knows this, and I think I heard AFC North legend AP Tone starting there, and this is a good end to Coach Dan Hurley of UConn, massive Bengals fan, have the Steelers 2 times coming up.
Yep.
If the Steelers sweep the Bengals in those 2 games, Coach Dan Hurley has to wear a Pittsburgh Steelers hat at a press conference.
Ooh.
And if the Bengals sweep the Steelers, which is what they're going to have to do to make it if they want to go anywhere this particular year, Tone Diggs will have to wear a Bengals, jersey or hat for an entire show. Tony, you think it's possible, brother?
For the Bengals, based on their offense, I kind of do. Like their schedule, we're looking at it right now. Like the Steelers is probably the best offense that they're going to play, and it's not like the Steelers' offense is a complete juggernaut. Yeah, they've played better with Russ, but it's not like they're like one of the top offenses in the league. Cowboys are probably going to be without Dak. The Titans aren't a great offense. The Browns are definitely not. The Broncos are a rookie quarterback. Chargers on Sunday Night Football, they've had the best defense in the league points per game so far, but their offense hasn't been tearing it apart. I think if their defense can get right against these offenses that aren't some of the best in the league and their offense still plays the way that they have been, I actually do think the Bengals have a chance, and it pains me to say that.
Isn't it crazy to think about, the Bengals defense last night? Probably feeling so good. Bengals fans probably we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out.
7,
2.5 quarters, we're doing it. I actually was watching going, damn, I didn't think the bank, because we were heavy over predictors yesterday. Everybody that was talking into a microphone on this program.
A lot of tweets in that first half.
That's what I'm saying. But the tweets obviously against us talking about the over. Obviously, it ends up happening. Did they make that right? Journalistic standards?
No,
Did they come back?
No, I didn't see a follow-up tweet. I didn't actually.
Obviously, that doesn't happen. But for those first 2.5 quarters, let alone the whole, we're definitely not hitting the over if this is how this is going to go. I also thought to myself, congrats, Lou Anarumo. Lou, this is the hardest offense you're going to have to. You have figured it out. And then, like a sieve, that thing just kind of opened up on him.
Well, it's one of those things, too, where it's like, hey, if you tell me Derrick Henry has 68 yards and Zay Flowers has 34 yards, oh, yeah, the Bengals won in a blowout. And obviously there are a couple plays like that Tylan Wallace sideline step, and then Mark Andrews coming up huge, and a couple timely turnovers. But if you are a Bengals fan, you got to think, we still have a chance. They put on a fantastic show, defense flying around, and that was a conversation Chuck brought up yesterday. They were missing guys in the interior, and their backup guys on the D-line were stepping up. And, 34 points against the Ravens defense, you can talk about the Ravens secondary being terrible. They were pretty one-dimensional. They didn't really try and run the football because of how good the Ravens' run defense was. And you would think after this bye week, hopefully if they can beat the Chargers on Sunday Night Football, after the bye week you get, a healthy 100% T. Higgins back, and then you could easily make it at 10-7. We're talking about them running the table, sure, 11-6 definitely in. 10-7 might get the job done. And I would still feel good as a Bengals fan. You don't feel great. I mean, you just lost a game you probably felt like you should have won. But I also love the fact that they went for 2. That second half,
I wanted to ask you,
turnover.
are you agree, Colin? People always say if you don't go for 2 and you kick it, everyone's like, oh, you should have gone for 2. But when you go and miss it, I feel like most people think, that was a good idea.
Well, that was the thing after Sunday. The Patriots, Dolphins, and then there was one other. They all didn't go for 2.
The Bucs.
The Bucs against the Chiefs, They all didn't go for 2 when they're dogs, on the road, and they score in the last minute. You might as well go for the win. They don't. They all end up losing. But in this situation, they line up to go for 2. Call timeout, and then you think, okay, they're going to kick go to overtime. Then come back out and still go for 2. I love that move. Obviously, a lot of people were saying, why aren't you throwing it to Jamar Chase? And Jamar Chase, after, in his press conference, was saying, I'm always open. I thought there was a chance I was getting the football maybe. But, I think it's a great move, especially when you think about what the Ravens were doing, from that fumble on. They were rolling. They really couldn't be stopped. So I'm a fan of the go for 2. Obviously, it stings hindsight. Oh, I should have kicked it. I'm sure people will say that, but why not go for the win? You need it. You're 4-5. You're trying to get back to 500. It's a division opponent. You're on the road in prime time. Hell yeah, go for the win.
What was the stat I read yesterday from Hembo? I think 2-point conversions are only being completed at like a 32% clip or something like that this season. Last year and the year before that, it was up over 50.
Wow.
So I think this year it's a little bit different in the red zone. Teams in the red zone, I think that's why we saw scoring down at the beginning of the year, because the red zone defenses were going to clamp down. The 2-point conversion stats, successful 2-point conversion stats, also down this year, like pretty far down. So I think a lot of coaches maybe have felt that trend whenever they decide to kick the extra point as opposed to going for 2. But if you're this Cincinnati Bengals team, and you were up big, then all of a sudden they come roaring back. Like, I don't think you want to go to overtime. Like, I think that is, let's try to steal this right now type situation in Baltimore. So I like that they clearly utilized some feel for the situation as well. Now, he got punched in the face. I mean, that's egregious.
That's a call that usually doesn't get missed, right?
Well, there was a couple earlier, too, I think, right?
He got hit pretty late in the pocket, too.
Hands to the face to the quarterback is a tough one to miss.
Yeah, on a game-winning play. I mean,
that's twice on Thursday Night Football now?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, can't have that. Can't be
twice on Thursday Night Football.
Now, they obviously would move it up to the 1-yard line there, and they would have to have another go in this entire thing. And who knows if they make that one or not. Yeah, tush push possibly. Like, they had the tight end come over and do it, right? Isn't that what?
On a fourth down.
They had tight end come over, 87 or whatever, come over and do it instead of Joe Burrow. I like that. Like, we like Joe. We also like the thought of the tush push. Let's figure out how to get somebody else in there to do that. For 1 yard, you could probably make that happen again. But overall, I think great game. And if you're a Bengals fan, I guess 10-7 would get you in there.
Yeah, right. I feel like, especially when you look at the other divisions.
Well, you look at all the games left for all the other top. There's a lot of big games left for a lot of top teams, because the end of the season, everybody's trying to pack in and make it look good, the schedule makers. And I think there could be some losses for some other teams too. I think 10 wins gives you a shot. I don't know if it's a guarantee, but I think it gives you a shot.
Yeah.
I mean,
AFC North.
If you're a Bengals fan, that you don't feel terrible about the rest of your schedule either.
No, but if you are going to drop one, I don't think you want it to be against the Chargers next week, because I think that's another team that they're going to be jockeying with for one of those playoffs.
Yeah, the
spots.
Chargers are 5-3 in the 6th spot right now, and in the 7th spot, the Broncos are 5-4. So it's not like are those teams going to hang on? Maybe, but no, I think the Bengals are definitely still.
Yeah, they're going to get to 10. It seems like a race to 10.
Yeah,
almost. Can you get to 10 wins? If you can, you might be in a good spot, and the Bengals can.
Yeah, if they figured it out on defense, especially like that, because that's been their whole thing.
2.5 quarters they had it.
I thought they were going to win. I thought Lou Anarumo had some Sunday sauce on a Thursday, and all of a sudden they were going to get the job done.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, Sunday gravy.
Right here.
And
right
Tylen Wallace, tightrope in the sideline.
Who is this guy?
No
How is he
idea.
able to stay in bounds? We don't know. His toes are in, his heels hovering out of bounds. What a freak athlete. And welcome to the conversation, Mr. Wallace. You're a stud. Legit. I don't know. That last one, it's his right foot, Foxy. It's his right foot. If you go back to that.
Where the heel was up, but the toe was down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's his right foot, like right there. It's that one. The left one also close, but his right foot, I think, was like toe in, heel out of bounds, still running down the field. It's like my Achilles would burst at the seams.
For sure. Right here.
It just completely burst at the seam.
Yeah, here it comes.
This one, right?
There, right there, yeah. So heel in the air, toe in the ground.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And remember, if his shin would have went down there. But
Out.